So, hi, I'm Tim, Chief Executive of WorkinConfidence, and I'm going to give you a quick rundown about our employee listening platform and how we're helping lots of organizations. We're about giving staff in organizations much better voice in a highly trusted way, but also managing to tie that in with management insights whilst not breaking the employee trust so that you can learn and develop as an organization. Let's have a quick look why that would be necessary. First of all, there are lots of problems in organisations. We've seen things like Me Too, but across organisations, as many as 60% of people witness or suffer bullying and harassment. For instance, half of women suffer sexual harassment at work, but considerably less than half of people with a problem ever raise it. There's a lot of reasons why that is, but we help create the safety so that people feel they can raise things, whether it's about bullying, harassment, discrimination, wellness, or actually also raise ideas when they may be reticent to. And so any problem that might make the organisation better, people's lives better, we help them raise that in a safe way. The second thing is when you engage more comprehensively with the staff, you get better performance. Quite a few stats suggest that, well over half of people in organizations are not actively, truly engaged with their organization. And, something around 20-25% are actively disengaged. And if you can move those people to being more engaged, you can get so much more out of the workplace. And around about 40% of people say that they don't really think their organization does enough to engage with them. So we help overcome that problem. We've got a platform which includes 4 components: anonymous speak up, so people can safely raise problems; surveys, pulse, mini, long form; discussion boards where people can raise ideas and discuss ideas, but they can choose to remain anonymous if they want; and case management, so that if people raise things directly in the speaking up arena, you can have one overall view and not 2 or 3 different systems to save things on. So let's take you into the anonymous speak up. Someone's got a problem and they want to raise it. They can log into the system, and logging in is only to identify them to the system. It doesn't identify them to the organization. You can have your messaging around here, which tells them more about this, but there is messaging which assures them about their anonymity. If they approach this from a phone or a tablet, it looks and feels like an app, so it's all mobile optimized. So as a member of staff, I would sign into the platform. You can have messaging here, which tells your staff about why you're using the system. But I can then start a conversation, and I'm also get reassurance about my anonymity. I can choose the topic, and you can have the topics set up for your own organization. I can choose the person that I want to send the message to. And you can attach different people to the different topics. So if I flip over to different topics here, there are different people for the operations. But I want to raise something on bullying and harassment, and I'm going to approach Susan Smith. So I would type my message in, and I would send that off through the system to Susan. You can ask people 1 or 2 questions about which part of the organisation they're in if you want to, but they still remain anonymous. If they've had other messages, they see the response when there is one in there for them from the manager. And if they haven't got to the bottom of the problem, they can continue that conversation backwards and forwards as long as they need to get to a resolution. Now, how does that look to the conversation recipient, the manager who gets the conversation? The manager will log in, and they would see a message in their inbox, and they can now respond to that message. And they could potentially do 3 things. First of all, they can encourage the individual to step forward. So you won't get in any trouble. It's brilliant you're raising this. It would make it much easier if we could discuss it, and actually will remain between me and you. But if you can't get the individual to step forward, you can try and explore whether they will give you more information. Is it a one-off? Is it a repeat problem? And if they won't give you more information, then you can just pick up from the central reporting that a number of these things have been raised, and perhaps we need to scratch below the surface in an area of the organisation. If I've got previous messages and I want to deal with one of those, I can go back and I can search through those messages, and I can throw up just things by a particular thing. So I've got one here to go back to, so I can go back to this person and tell them about that. I mentioned that we've also got case management. So if something's been raised in relation to another problem and that was raised directly, I can go in and I can create a case and I can store that case safely and track it, and we can set it up with particular fields of information you collect. Across the top of this, because you may have 5 or 6 managers on the system, managing the system, one responsible for equality and diversity, one responsible for wellness. But across the top, you can have an admin role, and the administrator can go in and see what sort of topics are being raised through the system, who are they being raised with. But behind this are about another 20 reports. So, are they being dealt with effectively? Have things changed over a period of time? So there's very rich reporting built into the system so that you can keep an eye on it and know where things are. So at the heart of it, it's a one-on-one anonymous communication system on the staff side, unless the staff member decides to step forward and say who they are. You can have multiple different managers responsible for multiple areas. It's safe, it's secure, it's got lots of other things built in, anti-abuse and things like that. You change the messaging on the platform. And you've got clear centralized reporting over the top of things. I mentioned also that we have surveys. So within the system, there's the ability to run surveys, whether those are around respect, wellness, equality and diversity, or wider issues such as engagement. So if you're on the system as a survey manager, first of all, we have a template bank to really get you started with surveys without having to build everything yourselves. If you want to, you can go in and you can create a survey, a pulse survey, 1 question, mini survey, 2 to 10 questions, or even a full form engagement survey. It's very easy to edit those surveys, and you can accommodate a number of different types of questions. Once you want to distribute those, you can either send a link out through the system, or you can, if people are registered on the platform, you can take a link from the system and send it to people, or you can even extract a QR code and pin it up on the lift door so that people can just scan it as they leave the office. So you can run that survey over a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Once the staff get the survey, they don't need to log in, they just need a link, and they can click on that link and fire away and complete the survey. When the results are available, you don't have to come to us for a report. The results are available immediately the survey completes, and those are available online straight away. This is just a simple yes/no question. Further down the line, we've got one which had a number of questions about, if you raise a concern, who would you raise it with? Here we see results of a slightly longer form survey, which included values, communications, but I can very quickly get a picture of how things are functioning in the organization. If you have a more complex survey, you can quickly download that into a spreadsheet automatically, and it comes out pre-color coded. So these are how many people answered the question, were the results different by part of the organization, and positive, negative balance. I mentioned also that WorkinConfidence includes discussion forums. So any member of your staff can contribute to ideas on those discussion forums, and they can again choose to remain anonymous if they think that will help them to overcome any reticence they've got about contributing views. I showed you 2 or 3 different views of the system. For the average member of your staff, for 99% of people in your organization, it is very simple. They log in, they have the ability to start an anonymous conversation. If you have the discussion boards, they have the ability to contribute to those discussions. And if they need to complete a survey, they get a link asking them to complete a survey. The other views of the system I showed you were for managers and admins to allow them to carry out more complex functions on the system. The system's all cloud-based, it's highly secure, and we're there to support our clients throughout the year to say, do you want to use this purely as a speaking up system, or do you want to use it much more widely as a speaking up and an engagement system? And what can we do to help you make it as successful as we can? I hope you have great benefits in using Working Confidence. Our clients are finding it a really exciting platform and finding they're learning so much about their people and managing to get their people to contribute more comprehensively. And please do contact us if there's any way at all we can help.